Balance the World with Dave Devon, helping humans establish a balance with our planet. Now, before we can help balance the world, we need to balance our two party system right here in America. Or, how I like to put it, to balance our politics. Because we need to fix our own problems here in America first before preaching to everyone else in the world, especially right now in 2025. And like I've said many times, it must be done through government. Government is the only thing big enough and powerful enough to actually make it happen. Rich people already understand this concept, which is why they spend so much time and money on lobbyists and buying our politicians, so they can make the laws and rules to benefit them. Now it's time for the American people to understand this concept, work together, and take back the control of our politicians and make them work for us and for what is right, not just the rich and corrupt. Here is a quick review from my last video of the top 10 reasons we don't work together and why everyone hates each other here in America. Mainly because we are the melting pot of the world and everyone is different from each other. So take a quick look at the rest of this list and compare it with what you think the reasons we don't work together are, and note any changes that you would make to this list. Also, here are 5 of the current reasons for our divide in 2025. And please notice that one of the biggest problems right now really is the social divide between the white MAGA crowd and the gay and trans community, feminists, minorities, and immigrants, which has bled deeply into our political party to divide. Because now that we've seen the graphs for when there are 10 or 5 reasons we don't work together, let's take a better look at the graph comparing 2 points of view, or more specifically, our 2 political parties. Now, my favorite part of this graph is the middle, or what I call the war zone. The 2 white backgrounds I'll be using are this one and the Capitol building background. Now, these white backgrounds are the topics and also symbolize laws, independent compromises, and mixing of issues, and basically where most of the fighting takes place. And the main reason for this type of slide is to show how both sides have fair points and to try your best to see the other side's point of view so the country can compromise on issues and try its best to work together. Problem is, instead of working together, the 2 parties seem to get spread out, polarized, and taken over by extremists and radicals, or how I like to put it, political pain in the asses, when people should be trying to get along and meet in the middle. Now, not on every issue, of course, because there's nothing wrong with being passionate about an issue you care about. I, for one, am very passionate about a lot of issues, but I also try to always see the other side's point of view, at least as best I can, because the other party is not going anywhere. Let me repeat that. The other party is not going anywhere. So compromises are going to have to be made, or we will forever just go back and forth with one party taking over the other one every 4 years. So, how do we get more people to like each other enough to meet in the middle and become independents and centrists? Or, how I like to put it, people who try to compromise and work together? Well, the answer to that one will be in one of my next videos titled The Perfect Citizen, which I will give my opinion on how to like each other a little bit more. For now, please at least notice and understand the farther you get from the center, the more extreme and radical you get. Now, speaking about extremists and radicals and the importance of balancing our political parties, I wanted to show a Civil War example because of how our parties have changed over the years. And because it seems like we haven't been this divided since the Civil War, or at least the 60s and the civil rights movements. And I wanted to show you Abraham Lincoln and Jefferson Davis because of how the parties were backwards back in 1860. Democrats were more conservatives and Republicans were more liberals, which has certainly changed over the years. And also, I think it's fair to say that Lincoln would have been a liberal Democrat in 2025, knowing that he was the main person responsible for freeing the slaves. It really annoys me how Republicans like to brag that Lincoln was a Republican, like he was on their side of racism. So hopefully this slide makes the point crystal clear that parties change, ideologies change, and the mix of party issues change. Which leads me to my next slide, Balance Our Politics, that shows how being an independent, a centrist, or meeting in the middle is a combination of not only compromising on issues, but it's also about mixing of issues and agreeing with the other team sometimes. You do not have to be 100% Democrat or 100% Republican. People rarely agree with either party 100% of the time. So have a spine and stand up to your friends and family when it comes to your mix of issues. You do not have to agree with everything they do. Being an independent also means you don't have to like either party's leadership or politicians. Both are often corrupt, especially how the Republican Party has been hijacked by Donald Trump and how the Democratic Party screwed over Bernie Sanders and stabbed him in the back like Julius Caesar twice. We could have had a kind, hardworking, great president who actually cared about people for the past 8 years. But no, they had to shove Hillary Clinton, Joe Biden, and Kamala Harris on us, especially without a primary last year. I will never forgive the Democratic Party and the leadership for what they blatantly did to Bernie Sanders. Not until they have all gone, voted out of office, or have passed away. So for me, when it comes to the issues, I am 65% Democrat or 35% Republican. Please understand, I hate both parties and their corrupt leaderships. They are both funded and controlled mostly by the same owners and donors anyway. They divide us on the social issues, but make no mistake, both parties take our money or tax dollars and give it to their donors who funded their campaigns, which getting the corruption and money out of politics and getting back to one person, one vote, not $1, one vote, is arguably the most important issue in the country. For now, let's talk about some of the other major issues and how we are divided. With this slide, I'd like to show you my politics. One, to show people what I believe in and how I think, but mainly to show how it is okay to have a mix of the two parties' issues and how we are not divided in half because one side is right and one side is wrong. Remember, both parties think they are right, and neither party is going anywhere. So, compromises and even understanding the other side's point of view are going to be needed if we are ever going to get along enough to work together, and at least enough to keep rich people from hogging all the money and to take care of this planet. For me, I'm approximately 65% Democrat, mainly because of my big five issues that I've highlighted here in the middle. And as I go through these, be thinking about your political issues and percentages and any changes that you would make or anything that you would like to add, especially the main five that are important to you. My top five issues are number one, to protect our planet and think globally, one planet, one race. Number two, to perfect fair and independent government. Three, to build the non religious movement and address the church versus state issue. Number four, to drastically improve education, especially at the high school level. We should be training good citizens, not just future employees. Number five, address population growth, not necessarily overpopulation, but population here on our planet, which has a lot to do with parenting and building the child free movement. A few more from the Democrat side would be pro choice on abortion, more birth control, and more sex education to highly regulate our economy and Wall Street. You believe in universal basic income, inflation, and price reductions. Not just inflation, but bringing prices down. Believe in labor unions, universal health care. Assisted suicide is one that I feel passionately about. I think people should be able to die with dignity. Building our FEMA and disaster relief instead of defunding it. And then at the bottom there behind me is free junior college and trade schools. Some of the reasons why I'm 35% Republican include number one, supporting police and law enforcement. That's probably the number one job on the planet I would not do. How would you like to have to deal with criminals and idiots all day long? Strong military to be the world's cop, secure borders and immigration reform, gun ownership, the death penalty, discipline in schools, that's a minor one. The LGBTQ behavior in public, for example, trans men and women's sports. Yeah, it does bother me. Corruption in government. I think both sides agree with that one. Annoying activists and even reporters sometimes. Fighting global terrorism, abolishing welfare, but replacing it with universal basic income, and age limits in government. Not necessarily term limits, but yeah, once a person or a politician gets to be 70 years old, they should be ineligible for reelection. So these are my basic politics. And of course, this is just a quick snapshot with a few of the issues. My main point for this slide and showing you these is to be tough enough to stand your ground and stick up for what you believe in. And don't blindly agree with whatever your team says. And remember, meeting in the middle is not always about compromising on an issue, but believing in a mix of the issues too. You don't always have to agree with everything your party says. And finally, don't be a single issue hater, meaning you agree with 95% of one party's issues, but one issue you disagree with makes you vote for the other party. I also think this is the main reason why people don't really like me and why I'm having so much trouble building support is because I make people on both sides mad at me. If you take a closer look at my issues on this slide, something is probably making you mad about my politics. So please don't let that one or a few of the issues keep you from liking or helping me grow my Balance the World organization. Again, take a minute and think about where you are on the political spectrum. Okay, the next main issue that I want to talk about is one of the biggest reasons people blindly pick sides and believe whatever their party says is because they are brainwashed by the media. Balance the media, make the news fair, honest, and neutral again. Remember, media equals adult continuing education and is mainly how most people stay informed. And political misinformation is everywhere, and the public is caught in the middle of their media propaganda war. So stop believing everything you see or hear on the magic idiot box or the internet or social media. And even stop believing everything your friends and family say just to fit in and be liked. In fact, start adopting the motto think for yourself and doubt everything. And believe it, agree with it, support it if it's true. And start asking questions like who's your source or how the hell do you know that? Or my favorite, says who? So until news starts being fair, honest, and neutral again, doubt everything. And remember, just because someone is smart or on the news or has a YouTube channel or even one of our leaders and politicians does not mean they are telling the truth. So always think for yourself, do your own research, and try to see the other side's point of view. Compromises are going to become more and more important as we move into the future. Because in order to balance the world, we have to balance our politics right here in America first. Thank you. Thanks for watching today's video and helping humans establish a balance with our planet. Don't forget to like and subscribe to our YouTube channels, follow us on Facebook and X, and please share our videos. Lastly, if you'd like to become a supporter and help us out financially, you can sign up for a monthly donation on our Patreon page at www.patreon.com/Balance the World with Dave Detman. But if you'd like to find out more first, please keep watching more Balance the World videos, and hopefully I can earn your support. Thank you.